Welcome back to it. It is still Trending SA on SABC3. And tell your friends that aren't watching right now, they can catch us again tomorrow, actually immediately after this, TrendingSA.tv. Thank you for all your tweets. We see them, we love them, keep sending them our way. And of course, it's time to get into our guest for tonight. Now, this is a man of incredible internal fortitude, a man with dynamic talent, and has been blazing the trail in the TV and radio industry for many years. Tonight, he is here to share his journey of overcoming his cancer diagnosis. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a great honor to have him here with us. This is Mr. Xolani Gwala. Can I tell you something? I don't think this day in my life would ever happen, because I remember when I was a child, grade 7, you'd have to polish your shoes on a Sunday, and then the show would come on. Masikhulume, and you'd be like, no, I don't like this man. Why?
Why?
Because the parents want to watch it, and you're like 13. That's the last thing you want to watch. But welcome to our show.
Thank you.
It's such a great pleasure to have you here.
It's good to be here.
Let's talk about the public outcry and all the support that you've had. How does that, or how has that made you feel? From the day that you were diagnosed, or rather when you told us that certain issues had come out and this is what is happening, how does that make you feel?
It's been overwhelming. But I've also been grateful because I understand that it could have ended any other way. And it happens all the time. Especially now, I mean, I get a lot of emails from cancer patients and people, families who have, loved ones who are going through the same thing that I've been going through and still going through. So I understand that it could have gone either way. So I appreciate it. I appreciate the support. It's kept me going.
How did you get to that understanding? I mean, there's obviously a change that needs to happen at some point or another. The doctor comes to you, he says, this is what we have, this is what we found. What goes on in your head, and how do you move past that to get to a point where you can accept, I think?
I think it is natural that, when the doctor says you have cancer, it's like the most gut-wrenching words that you'll ever hear. Primarily because you understand that cancer is an epidemic and there's no cure, and you understand it ends with death. So you go through, I suppose, a process of facing your mortality, thinking about death quite a lot, and understanding that you are mortal and it can happen to you.
Sure.
It's so remarkable to see you being so open with something that's quite a private matter. Was it always your plan to come out and speak to the public about your diagnosis, or was it just due to virtue of the circumstances that you had to sort of open up about what was going on with you with the public?
See, and I get that question quite a lot. I think because of my work, I never hesitated about coming out because of my work. So I suppose you could look at it from two perspectives. The one perspective is that in any event, I had to tell the listeners who were already starting to ask questions about where is this guy, what's going on. So I had to. But even in getting to that decision, it wasn't difficult because I had nothing to hide about it. It's not something that you go out there and look for. And it's not like, you were reckless. Or,
where's Xolani? Where's Xolani? On the radio. Who's the Stephen guy now?
But you're looking very, very good, Budwani. I hope you know that. It's been almost a year. I mean, what are the changes in Endlini? I mean, how have you and your family coped?
So it's a traumatic thing, eh? So I think we're all, Endlini, we're still going through this journey of like a recovery process. I mean, me physically, and of course just dealing with the cancer itself, but also Endlini with, just an emotional recovery because it's traumatic.
What do you have to say to those people who've been tweeting you and trying to reach out to you that you weren't able to say, hey, I'm okay? Do you want to look into the camera and say, hey, I'm fine, and I do appreciate those?
I am. I really am. And I'm really grateful for the support that people have given me. It's been overwhelming. It's just been amazing. And that kind of thing just, it keeps you going.
You're all back on air and there's been a strong reaction to your return. When did you decide to get back onto air?
That's an interesting story because I was actually meant to start in September, according to our plans, because my last surgery was in June. liver surgery. So we decided maybe it will be up until September, then I'll go back to work at the beginning of September. But as I was recovering, I thought, I'm feeling fit enough. And in August, I was talking to my station manager. At the beginning of August, I was like, you know what, actually, I want to go back to work. So I went back a month earlier than we had initially planned, partly because, you know, it was just good to get back to the thick of things again. You've been at home or hospital for a year, so you really just want to be out there and forget about, you know, what's been happening and forget about feeling sorry for yourself kind of thing. You want to be part of the...
So getting back there, were you excited? Were you scared? What did it feel like?
Oh, the first day was extremely emotional. First day was just mentally exhausting, but very emotional as well. Again, because people then start relating their stories and you start getting so much information about what's going on around the cancer epidemic, etc. But also just the love, just the love on its own. You know, sometimes you think, do I really deserve all of this?
John Robbie was loving you. John Robbie was just loving you.
It was
Everyone was loving you.
You know, so you change the perspective. You know, you start looking at people differently, completely, and your understanding of, and you realize that people inherently are very good, very good. And when your back is against the wall, you need them. You need them.
Did you get the support that you wanted, apart from your family? I hear you saying people are inherently good and things like this bring that out of them. But, you know, you've got colleagues, you've got people like that. Did people step up or did you initially find yourself in a very dark place?
No, I never. Not even for a single day did I find myself in that dark place. Family and friends. So I still take chemo just up the road here. And in fact, I'm doing it tomorrow morning. But if you go there was a corner where every time I went for chemo, there were people around me and we were laughing and we were making a lot of noise. So it was actually called a noisy corner because we were just laughing.
You were the naughty kids.
Yeah, the naughty kids.
We certainly were. So I never really, and even my oncologist even today, he still can't, he doesn't understand it because he says, look, I get all of these, you know, old people who have cancer, who are really like critical stages. I treat them, and towards the end, oh, but how is Mr. Gwala? And you know, so I never felt alone for a single day.
Mr. Gwala, you're in remission now, but you're still having some treatments.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about what that means? And I'm going to double that up with if you can wrap this up into like a minute and a half. You understand?
Okay.
Also, just what it means, if you can give some awareness to people about cancer in general. Like, what has your awareness? What has this opened up to you? Like, what should people know about, and what can you flag to people that are watching this?
Okay, so just the technicality of remission is that it's always a matter of time. It's about how long. It's about, for instance, cure. You can only start talking about cure maybe from 10 years, 15 years.
Right.
So it's a long journey.
Right.
So that's one part of the story.
Okay.
The other part, and I think it's quite an important part that you're talking about what I've learned, and there's just so much I've learned, but I want to pick up one thing that I heard last week. I had an hour-long show on radio about cancer, and I got a call from a Dr. Burbington from Donald Gordon, who said, in South Africa, black men in particular used to show for colorectal cancer, which is what I had, colon cancer, after 50. But now they show 10 years earlier than white men.
Wow.
Why?
Because it's an epidemic. It is out there and it is real. So if you have an opportunity to go and get yourself scoped, colonoscopy and whatever it is that you need to get.
Is it diet? Is the diet contributing to
I think the
epidemic?
diet has a lot to do with it. The environment has a lot to do with it. There are fumes. There are all sorts of things. But it is getting worse.
Okay.
Sure.
So the key factor, get checked.
Get checked,
from
yeah.
younger.
And this whole thing about waiting until you're 50. I was 42. So forget about that thing of 50. People are getting younger and younger. And I see so many young ladies, breast cancer is big issue, 20, 25, 27. So it really is a big issue. It's opened my eyes, yeah.
Plans for the rest of the year, 2019?
Plans for this year? Just having fun, I think. Just, forgetting about what happened the past year, working, getting out there.
Why do you think people love you so much?
Because I love them.
Oh,
I think so, actually. I think that's what it is. I think it's just We love each other.
No, good for you. Good for you. I'm very,
Wow.
very happy.
Never did I ever think I'd see the man that played on my TV
Hi.
at night when I was polishing my shoes. Thank you so much for joining us. Good luck on the rest of the journey. And we'll see you again in 10 years' time.
Yes, I hope so.
And then 20 years' time,
Yeah.
and we'll be all together at the old age home. Thank you so much.
hope so.
All right, that was Xolani Gwala, our guest for today. It's time now to take a quick ad break. When we come back, what's up on WhatsApp?
Uxolani zange nimcela imali. Xolani kambe 20 rand.
Only.